Your reservation? It's gone. Just like that.
You have no idea who you're talking to.
I don't need to. Rules apply to everyone.
You'll regret this.
Not tonight, I won't.
They said there's no table, but the dining room is half empty. Then why are those walk-ins sitting by the window? Naya stood in the glow of lark and ash. Reservation confirmed, suit crisp. Dignity intact jet, treated like she didn't exist. She watched them serve everyone but her, felt the old insult dressed up as policy, and made one quiet call. Minutes later, the owner emerged, panic in his eyes. And the whole restaurant froze as she delivered a sentence that would end their night and change their future. This is the story of a Black CEO who was turned away, then shut it all down. Welcome, story lovers. Where are you watching from? Hit the like button and drop your city name in the comments so we can see how far our story travels. Naya Carter had spent most of her adult life learning how to enter rooms that weren't built for her and still make them hers. She didn't do it with noise. She did it with results. At 38, she was the CEO of a fast-growing hospitality investment firm that bought struggling restaurants, rebuilt them quietly, and turned them into thriving neighborhood landmarks. Her name wasn't splashed across billboards. It didn't need to be. People in her world measured success by margins, not media. That Friday moved like any other high-pressure day. She started before sunrise, reviewed a quarterly deck on the ride downtown, and closed a deal by lunchtime that would keep 300 employees on payroll for another year. By late afternoon, her assistant had already confirmed her dinner reservation once by phone, once by email, Launder Naya Carter, party of one. She preferred solo dinners on days like this. They let her exhale, take stock, and plan her next move without the buzz of anyone else's expectations. The restaurant was called Lark and Ash, a newly renovated spot in the historic district. Brick walls, warm lighting, linen napkins folded like origami. It was the sort of place where reputation traveled faster than menus. Naya had helped fund the renovation a year earlier. Not as a favor, she never did favors, but because she saw potential in the location, the chef, the concept. The deal had been clear. Her firm would support the rebuild, and the owners would get a chance to prove they could run the place with integrity. She arrived at 7 on the dot. Wearing a tailored navy suit, and a calm that came from knowing her name meant something here. The valet took her key with a polite nod. As she walked toward the doors, the city's evening chill fell away, replaced by the restaurant's glow. Everything about the moment felt normal, earned, even peaceful. Then the hostess looked up, the smile flickered. The eyes were measured. And in that tiny pause, so quick other people might miss, Nita felt the air shift. She'd learned to recognize that shift years ago. The quiet prelude to something ugly, trying to disguise itself as routine. The hostess's voice was practiced, sweet, in the way some people are lovely when they're about to deny you something. She scanned the reservation book without really looking, then tilted her head as if the problem were already solved. She said the list was complete. At first, Naya stayed still. Not because she believed it, but because she wanted to see how far the performance would go. The restaurant wasn't overflowing. She could count empty tables from the doorway. A couple near the bar had just been seated, still adjusting their coats. The dining room had that soft, curated hush that meant capacity was being managed carefully. Naya repeated her name, slow and clear. The hostess pretended to search again, fingertips tapping the page like a metronome. Her eyes never settled. They skated past the lines, over the truth. Then she gave the same answer with a slightly tighter smile, as if Nia was forcing her to be rude. Nia felt something old tighten in her chest, not surprise. Not even anger yet, but the weary recognition of a script she'd been handed her whole life. The script where competence doesn't matter. Appointment doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. Because skin arrives first and rewrites everything else. She took a half step to the side, letting a small line form behind her. The hostess seemed relieved to focus on someone else, and that relief spoke louder than words. A white couple walked in laughing, no reservation, glancing around like they owned the night. The hostess brightened immediately, checked nothing. and led them straight to a table by the window. Naya watched the chairs pull out, watched menus open, watched water pour. 2 minutes later, another pair came in, same story, no reservation. The hostess waved them through with effortless hospitality, offering a booth that just opened up. Naya stood there in full view of the dining room, the only person the staff could not see. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't plead. She simply waited, and in waiting, she let the truth stack up in plain sight. The manager, a broad-shouldered man with a crisp apron and rehearsed charm, walked over like someone approaching a minor inconvenience. He asked if there was an issue. Nia explained. Reservation confirmed. Name on the list. Seated walk-ins passed her by as if she were part of the decor. She kept her tone even because she'd learned that an even tone makes bias squirm. It denies the drama it wants to blame you for. The manager squinted at the book, then gave the same line. Full, nothing available. He said it like it was weather, like no one had anything to do with it. Behind him, laughter rose from the bar. Forks clinked. The restaurant was alive and unbothered. That was the real cruelty. Not the denial, but how normal it felt to everyone else. How easily the world kept moving when it wasn't happening to them. Nia could have argued. She could have demanded the owner. She could have pulled out her phone and shown the email chain, the confirmation number, the names of the executives who had personally thanked her for believing in this place. But she didn't, because she knew the point wasn't whether she could prove she belonged. The point was that they had decided she didn't. So she took a breath, turned slightly away from the desk, and made one call. It wasn't a dramatic call. No threats, no hot words. Just a quiet request to her firm's compliance director, the one person who didn't need a long explanation. Nia spoke in short, precise sentences. Denial of confirmed reservation. Seating of walk-ins. Pattern consistent with discriminatory conduct. And yes, this was Lark and Ash. While she spoke, the hostess kept pretending to shuffle pages. The manager hovered, trying to wear patience like a mask, but he kept glancing at Nia's phone as though it might bite him. He asked if she wanted to try another night, another time. Another solution that required her to swallow the insult and come back smaller. She ended the call and looked at him, calm, measured. Final, he didn't know who he was watching. He thought she was a problem to manage in the doorway. He didn't realize she was the reason the doorway existed at all. And that's when the tension started to spread. The way heat spreads before anyone admits the room is on fire. The owner arrived in a rush. Not because someone had described Nia's skin to him, but because someone had described her name. He came from the kitchen with a towel in his hand and uncertainty all over his face, sensing a situation he didn't yet understand. His eyes found Nia, and in the moment they did, recognition hit him like a wave. He knew her, not in a casual way, in the way a person knows the name on the contracts that saved their dream. The one signed in black ink beside his own last year. The one that kept his doors open when construction costs doubled and lenders backed away. He froze at the sight of her standing outside like a stranger to his own business. Nia didn't need to say much. She didn't need to perform pain. Her presence was the evidence. The empty tables were the evidence. The walk-ins eating by the window were the evidence. The hostess's stiff posture was evidence. She told him the truth in a voice steady enough to cut through the dining room's hum. She explained what happened, who said what, and how quickly welcome had turned into refusal the moment her face came into view. The owner turned toward his staff with a disbelief that sharpened into horror. The manager started to speak, but the owner raised a hand. The hostess looked down. Suddenly, small inside her uniform, Nia met the owner's eyes and told him this was a breach of everything he promised her firm. A violation of policy. A violation of the law. A breach of humanity. Then she delivered the part that made the restaurant go silent, effective immediately. Lark and Ash was closing. Not next week. Not after an investigation. Tonight, phones went up. Conversations died mid-sentence. The owner's face paled as the meaning landed, table by table, like ATHUNDERCLAP. Dear audience, where are you watching from? Drop your city name in the comments. The closing wasn't a burst of revenge. It was procedure. Nia's firm had a strict ethics clause in every contract, written for moments like this, because she'd seen too many businesses hide discrimination behind misunderstandings. Her call had activated that clause. The compliance team was already on its way, and the owner, stunned but not combative, understood there was no path around what his staff had done in the following hours. The restaurant emptied under the weight of its own shame. Not everyone knew the details, but everyone felt the shift. People left money on tables and avoided eye contact. A place designed to feel warm now felt exposed. The following week unfolded like a reckoning. An internal investigation confirmed the pattern Nia suspected: quiet refusals, lost reservations, selective seating, especially toward Black patrons on premium nights. The manager and hostess were terminated. The owner issued a public apology. Not the polished corporate kind, but one thaw,